When we talk about personal growth, a lot of people don't understand the difference between inspiration and motivation. So let's discuss a little bit what is the difference between motivation and inspiration and why you should really strive for inspiration instead of motivation when we talk about personal growth. Now, first of all, motivation is usually based on your conscious goal setting and based on external things that you want to achieve. Once you have that car, once you have that better job, once you are wealthy, or once you are slimmer or whatever, and then you think you feel happy. All those things are like external things, not coming from inside. They are like your ego's assessments of who your ego thinks you should be in order to, be successful, happy, or whatever it is that you want to achieve. Inspiration, on the other hand, is like internal, intuitive message based on your higher self, your spirit, something inside of you. A lot of people also think that the intuitive messages or inspirations, they are coming from your unconscious mind, not like from your conscious goal setting, but from somewhere in your unconscious mind. And the difference between the conscious and unconscious mind is that the unconscious mind really holds a lot more information and knowledge than your conscious mind. Your conscious mind is pretty much just the tip of the iceberg of what you are consciously aware of, whereas your unconscious mind is just collecting information all the time. I have another video explaining about the differences between conscious and unconscious mind, so go ahead and look for those videos so you'll understand the difference. So how to tell the difference between inspiration and motivation? Well, for one, they feel different. As I explained earlier, so motivation is usually goal driven, and it's based on fears or goals or rewards or desires or expectations. And all those things, they are, again, more like external things. You might be afraid that something bad might happen to you in the future, and that because of that fear motivates you to. And also it might be something, like I said, a reward based. So if I think about a reward that is waiting for me in the future, I get motivated about that. So they can be either based on getting away from a negative thing like a fear, or going towards to something like a reward thing. Inspiration, on the other hand, is passion or purpose driven, and it comes with the feelings of excitement and lightness and passion. And in a way, motivation kind of like pushes you towards your reward, or pushes you away from that fear or whatever negative you might be avoiding. Whereas inspiration has kind of a pull. It pulls you towards something, and usually something more abstract than a specific goal. Motivation is also based on a drive or a discipline, and it kind of requires constant fuel. You constantly need to remind yourself about those things that are waiting for you, either going away from something or going towards something. And it requires discipline. So, I need to discipline myself to achieve those things. Inspiration then arises when something resonates with your truth, your purpose, your passion, and excites you instead of like pushing you towards something. Inspiration doesn't require that discipline or constant fuel. It has this pull that just resonates with you and your higher purposes. Think about the difference this way. When you wake up in the morning, are you like trying to motivate yourself, thinking about, okay, what do I want to achieve today? Or what do I want to really avoid today? Today I'm not going to stay poor, I'm not, whatever it is. And you kind of talk yourself into motivation. And then that motivation kind of like pushes you out of the bed. Okay, I'm going to do that. I need to do that, and so on. On the other hand, are you inspired about something that you are looking forward today? So it kind of something that pulls you out of the bed instead of the motivation pushing you out of the bed. Okay, let's go and do it. There's something that pulls you out of the bed, and you cannot always really exactly pinpoint what it is. It's just that lightness that pulls, or excitement that pulls you out of the bed. Of course, there's also the third choice that I don't want to get out of the bed, I want to stay here, which, of course, doesn't apply to a personal growth in practically any way. Another thing that might, distinguish the difference between motivation and inspiration is that inspiration aligns with being. Who do I want to be? What kind of a person, or so on. And the motivation aligns with doing. So what do I need to do today? What do I want to do today even to achieve my goals? I think it's also important to understand that inspiration is really more like an invitation of who you want to become. It's not the transformation itself. It's more like the invitation to the transformation, that who you will become when you follow your inspirations, your intuition, and so on. So don't get me wrong. I mean, both are good. You need motivation and you need inspiration. And usually, motivation works better for people who are at the lower levels of consciousness. And inspiration, intuition, usually works better for those people who are at the higher levels of consciousness. And if you don't know what I mean about these levels of consciousness, again, I have already made some other videos where I explain what these levels of consciousness are and how to achieve them and so on, and how to move higher on those levels of consciousness. So go ahead and look for those videos so you understand that concept as well. That's not to say, though, that you should not use inspiration if you are at the lower levels of consciousness, and also that you should not use motivation if you're at the higher levels of consciousness. It's more like you need more motivation at the lower levels and more the inspiration and intuition at the higher levels. So how do you get that inspiration? I mean, goal setting, like I said, it's like a conscious process. You set goals and you motivate yourself with those goals, that they drive you towards these things and get you to do things towards your goals. Now, inspiration, intuition requires pausing. You need to just be silent and let that inner voice come out. Inner voice comes with that silence, and when that noise of the ego kind of like goes away, the thing is that your ego pretty much tries to talk you out of those messages of your intuition and inspiration, because that means also change, and your ego pretty much resists change. Again, I have also made some other videos about the function of ego, so go ahead and watch those videos so you will understand the whole concept of ego, or at least understand it better. But the point is really that the real insights threaten the ego, and therefore the ego resists those messages of your intuition and insights. So personal growth requires that you kind of accept the discomfort of the ego's resistance. Don't fight it. Just, learn to be kind of like comfortable with the discomfort. Just, understand that it's not the end of the world. It's not really life-threatening or anything else like that, although your ego pretty much tries to convince you that it is. Just allow yourself some discomfort, and so just let it bypass. It will go away once your ego realizes that, okay, nothing really bad comes with the changes, with the growth. Now here's an important part, by the way. When you follow your intuition, your inspiration and so on, then just leave all assumptions that what the outcome should or might be. Because when you follow your inspiration and intuition, it's not really that's not really goal driven. And the funny thing is that if you just allow yourself to leave all the assumptions or expectations of what the outcomes might be, the funny thing is that there's a very high chance that you will be very positively surprised about the outcomes, because very often they exceed whatever you might have consciously set as a goal when you follow your inspiration and intuition. So I suggest that you follow your intuition, your inspiration, and see what kind of outcomes will come when you are not when you are not attached to those outcomes. And like I said, usually you might be surprised positively what happens. Then on the other hand, sometimes the results, the outcomes, when you follow your intuition, they might be, negative. And that is okay as well, because in that case, most of the time, the purpose of that negative outcome is that it gives you a learning. You learn something that you would otherwise not learn, and which is really vital or at least necessary to your personal growth. So meaning that the personal growth is not only about, achieving nice things and having fun and being grateful and all those things, because it also requires those learnings. And those learnings really come with some, might even be some what you'd consider to be bad things in your life. You might, leave a relationship, but that might be something that you require to do in order for yourself to grow. Or it could be something else. You might lose a job because of who you become. Because that job you had doesn't fit your higher self anymore, or who you have become. So there are these adversities that will sometimes come, but they are there for you to learn. So the point is to stay positive and just keep on learning how to detect the messages of your intuition and follow that inspiration you get. I hope again you have found this video insightful and useful for your personal growth. If you like these kind of topics, please subscribe to my YouTube video, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and those things. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video and be well.